Another question, it's a different subject, it's from up the back, it's from Gloria HEALY.
Some sections of the media have given the Greens a hard time. Do you think that the Murdoch virus could have infected the Australian branch of the Murdoch empire?
Yes, Gloria, I've copped a lot of stick over wanting a media inquiry to look at the very simple fact, ultimately, of having the Journalist Code of Ethics upheld in Australia, where so often it's not. And you know, unlike doctors or engineers or lawyers, there is no professional organisation which keeps them really in check. And I think it's sad.
The fear in a lot of journalistic organisations is this will be a restriction of freedom of the press and of freedom of speech.
Well, it won't. It'll actually help free up the press. The greatest restriction of the press at the moment is Rupert Murdoch. He restricts what you see, he restricts the opinion you get, he restricts what the topic base of the future is. He's got an enormous control as a non-Australian and a multimillionaire on what we see, think, hear, read. He has 70% of the papers produced in metropolitan Australia, and he's got other very great interests in the media. Now, good on him. But that is
that not balanced out by having a public media, as we do in Australia, a public broadcaster?
Well, I see Piers Ackerman frequently on Insiders on Sunday morning from the Murdoch press and today claiming in the media that I was in the business of repressing democracy and holding back civilisation. Really? You know, and he says, this is what I think. You know, it's this very insidious thing that he knows what I'm thinking and what I'm planning, when in fact my role has always been, and my heart is in, the promotion of democracy, of equality, a fair go for people. I think the media, is, like politics, is far too much under the thumb of the mega-rich in an age where the gap between rich and poor is widening rapidly. You've only got to see that with the mining tax. You know, the big corporations rolled into Canberra, they put up a $22 million advertising campaign, you'll remember that well, and as a result, we Australians will have $100 billion less spent on health and education in the next 10 years. And it was back to the hilt by the Murdoch media, and Australians lost out badly because of that. We need greater plurality in the media. We need the Code of Ethics upheld. That's not repression. That's opening it up and giving other people, and particularly the consumers, a better go.
We've got a person with their hand up in the front here. We'll quickly come to you. We'll get a microphone to you. And
Mr Brown, do you agree with the British parliamentarian Tom Watson when he said the amount of influence that Mr Murdoch's had over these last years effectively amounts to that of a shadow state?
Yes, I do. I've had some correspondence just to congratulate Tom Watson. He stood up at the backbench of the British Parliament, he's a Labor MP, to say this is out of hand when nobody else would. Prime Minister Cameron's now said we were wrong. We should have stood up to what was going on in Fleet Street. But, you know, it's very easy if you're a member of Parliament to be cowed by thinking if I speak out about the media, I'm going to get a bad press. Now, my experience with journalists is they are great people, but if their options in the media are largely determined by one or two big outfits, it's very restricted. I'm just going to
bring you up on that because we've had the Murdoch virus talked about there, a connection made here with what's gone on in Britain. There is no evidence in Australia, is there, that the Murdoch press have behaved in the way they behaved in Britain?
What about Camillagate, where the royal family's phones were criminally interfered with? The tapes of what Prince Charles and Princess Camilla, and remember I'm a Republican, were then made available. Fleet Street wouldn't touch them because it would have been the recipient of criminal activities, Tony.
But I can tell you they ran on the ABC as well, so I suppose everyone's culpable there.
Well, no, at the end, because they came to Australia and were running New Idea, which was a Murdoch publication at the time, and then ran all over Fleet Street. No involvement? I don't think so.
We're going to move on. We've got another question. It's